Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the World of Wayne. Brand new week, back to normal schedule today. So being Monday, we're going to be doing the next stage, pack 6 of the Agora Models release of build the Mercedes W196R Stirling Moss Mercedes. Oh, it's good to be getting back onto this. Now, if you remember in the first 4 stages, which was one video, if you remember, we had to build one of these tyres with the spokes, which took 2 hours. You'll be pleased to know we've got to do exactly the same thing in this stage, this pack as well. But I've already done that, so we're just going to skip over that stage. But if you want to see how they're done, just refer back to the videos from stages 1 to 4. You'll see me do that. If you want to see me doing it the long way round, you can join my Patreon and you can see me actually putting it together on Patreon there with all the stresses that come with that. But this is looking like an absolutely brilliant build. We're going to be doing some more of the suspension today. If you want to get this for yourself, I have put a link down here to the Agora Models website. You can get it all the way from pack 1. But without further ado, let's get cracking. The packs are labelled slightly different in these ones. So in pack 327, that's the one we're working on here, we've got some large parts of the rear suspension here. Now once again, another new one for me. Everything you see here is, you probably hear it dropping, metal. The only thing that isn't is the gator here, which is looking like that. Again, this is like a rubbery material. And the first thing I'm going to do is take this left upper arm, and it has got sort of like a tilt on the end of it. It's going to go into this hole on this section, just there, held in with an screw. You don't need me to say I'm going into metal, so I am putting this in some oil. And Wayne, what does putting it into oil do? Well, it just makes the screw go in a lot easier. When you're actually screwing this in, it will make your life a lot easier as it cuts through those threads. You may have some paint from the metal on here. It's always good to lubricate up your metal screws. Sometimes you do need a little bit of extra torsion to get these in here as well. So this is my PH1 screwdriver. Gives you a little bit more thrust when you're turning this around. Now on this one, the bend again, I'm believing it should be bending towards this section here. So when I put this in, it's got a slight tilt pointing towards here. That's going to be held in with an NM screw, not an MN, an NN, nanny mama. Although Wayne, if you are going to attempt to use the phonetic alphabet, you should be saying November Mike. Now I could be making a mistake here. I can't be sure from the picture that this is going in the right way, but it does make sense. So I will get this in and we'll see if I have got that right. And there we go. That's that one going in as well. So bringing the car over here, we're going to be having this section here going down the shaft there, like that. Now the way it goes is that this one here is going to go underneath here to the front, and the one that I said I don't know if I put it in the right way is going to go underneath this section here. Now you can see that this isn't going in the way I've done it, so basically I need to flip this round so it's bending towards this way rather than this side. See, I make mistakes so you don't have to. To fix that, all we're going to do is just undo the screw like that and flip this around this way, and then put the screw back in again. See, chances are if I've done that, you're going to do that too. Then that way this can go underneath there, ready to be secured into position just here. Now that's going to be secured in there with an NM screw. Might be best on the top camera to see that. And get that all the way in. Now the drive shaft here, which is coming from the engine, is actually going to go behind the section we've just put in. You can probably see a little screw hole there, which we're going to be putting that in with. That's going to be put in with an OM screw. This is a very long screw, as you can see there. Perfect. And just get that all the way in. And again, probably going to use my PH1 screwdriver just to ensure that's nice and tight in there. Now, this section here that we've got coming from this black section, we need to make sure that's folded upwards like that and the joints hanging down, because I'm about to plug that into the hole that we can just see there. Hopefully you can see that on the close-up camera there. It's going to be held in with a JM screw. Probably best to get your screwdriver in from the side here, get it through this piece and then line it up. There you go, that can go in there. And again, I'll use my big screwdriver. I'm loving the amount of metal on this suspension section here. That's great. We can put that to one side because I'm now going to be taking the shock absorber top, which is metal, and the spring, which is metal. And I'm going to be trying to piece both of these sections together, but this spring is quite tight. So what I need to do, if I just take that spring off and show you how this is going to go, this has got a sort of like lip in it there. So it's going to go down there. And then I'm going to twist it and that will stop it coming out into that bit like that. This is going to be tricky. I'm going to oil that up just to get it nice and easy to do, as you can see. No problems. Okay, let's try and do this with a spring on. There you go. I've done it. That was actually easier than I thought it was. I got a bit worried then, I have to say. So this now, if you've got it in right, you should be able to push this in all the way, because the catch on it should be on that last shaft just there. I am now going to be putting the gaiter on top, taking this out again because I think I should have put that gaiter in first. Just looking at how this goes. Yes, that gaiter is going to be going in first. Oh God, this is going to be difficult. Okay. And there you go, that's in place. The easiest way to do this is when you line it up, think about what direction this is compared to that before you put it in, because you're going to be doing this blind. This is slightly off, and then when it's in, obviously as you can see, they're now flat because they start off slightly angled and then you're turning them in. So make sure you remember what direction that was in to get that in perfectly. Once you've got it all the way down, hold it on your desktop, push it down and then spin it, and you should get that. So, time to put this in the car now. Turning the car back over, we've got a peg there. This is going to go on, so it's going to go on the top there. And then the bottom section is going to go onto this plastic section just there. So when I put this on, it should look... Oops, get it in. Might need to push it a little bit. There you go. Just like that. It's going to be held in with PM screws. Then probably easier to turn it over, feed that on, and put one just in the bottom there. Excellent. That was really quite fiddly to get that in, but there you go, looking like that. And that is all there is to do in that stage. So you can guess what we're going to be doing in stage 28. Did you guess correctly? As you can see, we've got exactly the same parts as we had in the last stage. But because we're a dab hand at this now, we know what we're doing, we should be able to get this together, no problems at all. And just like last time, we're going to be taking the longer one of these. These look similar, but this one's longer. And again, putting it on here with the bend facing towards this side here. So it's tilting that way. That's held in with an MM screw. You also want to ensure that it's the shorter end at the top there. And just get that all the way in. Now again, taking the shorter side of this, when we put this into this cavity here, we want the bend to be going towards this way. So it's going towards this way here. We learnt that the hard way last time. And that's held in with an NM screw. Once again, bring the car over. Turn it upside down, and just like last time, this one's going to go on here again. One side is going to go underneath this section here, the other side's going to go into the section at the front here. And that's when I've just realised that now I've got to put this side in. Just ignore what I said there, turn this around. It doesn't go towards the front, it goes around the other way. You see, I will keep all my errors in here. You'll know that because when you put it on, these sections won't sit in properly if you have got them in the wrong place. You see, so these are going in like that. And as you can see, they sort of sit in there on their own. So just make sure if you have got these wrong and they're not fitting properly, just spin them round. It's very unclear in the pictures which way they go, but that's definitely the way they go there. We're going to be putting these in with, first off, an NM screw at the top. We don't actually secure this one in place yet. Now again, the drive shaft that's coming from here, we just need to put behind this section here. And remember, that's held in with one of the OM screws, the really long ones here. You should be able to feel it go all the way through, and then just tighten that up. Probably best to actually put that way round, and just get it from the top there. Now again, this part that's coming from here, I'm just going to get this lined up, because that's going into position just here with a JM screw. There you go, that's that in. Again, just tighten it with my larger screwdriver here. Perfect. Put that to one side. The bit now that dreads me, I'm going to put that in a bit of oil, and again I'm going to just check how this lines up. This time when we put it in, we're going to be turning it that way so it goes in. So just experiment with how that goes in. Can't stress that enough, because we're about to now put the spring on. Looking at what direction this is going in, let me try one more time. So if this is flat, this will be going in this sort of way there. So it's sort of like off-centered, so I'll remember that when I've got this part on. Then I can line this up again. When I'm happy I've got it, that's going to work. Now the hard bit, we've got to put the spring on. So let's get the spring down there. Let's see how we get on with this. That doesn't look too bad. Twist it, and there we go. We did it. This is going on exactly like last time, so we're going to turn it round. So this rounded section here is going to be going onto the bottom. The top section is just going to be going onto this black bit at the top there. It's just mirroring exactly like we've done last time. That's held in with PM screws. One in there, get that nice and tight. Turn it round. And put the bottom one in here. That is the suspension in both sides. That's all there is to do in that stage. In stage 29, we got some more frame here. We haven't had that for a while. This makes a bit of a relief compared to what we've just done. That was quite fiddly, I have to say. But you know what? Once you've done one side, just like anything, the other sides aren't too bad. Again, everything you see apart from this pipe is metal. So bringing this back over again, I keep calling this the engine, to the transmission here, I've got some pipes to put in. So this pipe here is going to be going into the box that you can see here. Now one side of it has got a hole. We need to pass it under this section and this section here to plug it into the bottom just there. Should fit no problems on its own like that. Then we're going to be taking the frame. Now we've got two holes just here which are going to go into the holes just here. We do have two locating pins here and here which are going to go into these two holes just here. So it's probably best to put the locating pins in first, 1 and 2, and then we'll secure these down with DM screws. Again, they do give you two kinds of DM screws in this build, but we want the black ones, not the silver ones. So that's one in there. Again, just make sure it's lined up on the locating lugs there, and put one in the other side here. Now in these center bigger holes here, we're going to be putting BP screws. And I do have these ready to go. I'm just lining them up. And get these in. Now if I turn the engine over, on this frame here, we've got a hole that it needs to be screwed in there. That's going to be done with a DM screw as well. And get that screwed in. Perfect. And it's the same just on the other side here. We've got 2 DM screws to put in there. That will ensure that this frame is not going anywhere. Now on this part at the top here, we've got another bracket now to put in, which looks just like this. This is going to go on the underside of this one here. So now that sits onto the front end just like that. And it's going to be held in just here with CM screws. So it does look like everything we've just created, we're now encasing in all of this frame. Best to hold it from behind and then put the CM screw in just loosely at the moment, and I'll tighten them up with my bigger screwdriver. Definitely, again, using oil for this and get these really tight. And now to put this bit in just at the bottom, we're going to turn that over and I'm going to be putting a DM screw just into that hole there. Now I'm not going to lie to you, those last stages were quite hard. But you are going to have hard stages on these builds, and that's the reward of actually getting them done. And they certainly do add to the detail. But with that in, just turn this over. That's all there is to do in that stage. Lots of stages in this build, but we are now on stage 30. We're going to fit in the water pump and the fuel pump reservoir. Mrs. Worldaway will be happy that I've pronounced reservoir properly, because I normally call it a reservoir. Okay, guess what? I'm going to need the engine. We haven't seen this for a while, have we? But that's looking just like that. The first thing I'm going to need is this section just here. That's just going to go into the holes that we can just see on the end here. Now they are different thicknesses, but it is just a push-in. As you can see, that's all the way in. I'm then going to be taking this pipe. This comes with this stage, and I do have a cap to put on the end, which looks like that. This has got a D-shaped pattern, so when I put this on, it can only go in one way. It's going to look like that. Now, if you have a look right down the engine, past these sections here, you'll see a slot. This is where this is going to go. I'm just going to slot that in. So I don't really want to dodge any wires I've got there because they're in place. So if I drop it in from the top and then push it in, just like this, make sure it's in all the way. That's going to look good like that. Now I'm wondering, do I want to glue that? I think, just feeling it, I am. I'm going to put a bit of glue on that. And now I don't have to worry about that falling out. While that's drying, I'll put that to one side. While we just make... Is this the pump? I don't know what this is. Okay, all we're going to do is put the cap on. Like that. And then I have got this pipe just to come out the top nipple here. Again, I'm just going to check how that's in. That's holding itself. I'm not going to need to glue that, but that's into place there. This is actually going to go onto the frame. And if you look at the frame here, right at the front, it's going to go in here. So this is just going to sit in to the inside section just like that. It's held in with a BM screw. I've got that here. I've put that in a bit of oil. It's just going to go over the top and put that into place. Make sure it's nice and tight. Perfect. And that's all there is to do in that stage. Now, if you thought we had fun doing the rear suspension, we're about to do the front left suspension now. So let's bring up pack 31. Lots and lots of little tiny details here. What I want to do is take this section. I'm going to be putting this section just onto the side of it. So when it's in, you want to make sure it's that way round. Okay, I'm going to put this in with a PM screw. You might find it easier to actually just pre-thread that screw in first before you put that in, but that's that side in. I'm going to do the other side now, which is going to go in this way, just into this side here. Once again, held in with a PM screw. And again, I'm going to tighten that with my larger screwdriver. Now, in the top section here, you'll notice there's a little hole. I've got another bracket to put in here. That's going to be going on top of that section there and held in with a CM screw. So it does fit over the lip like this. So let's get this one in and make that nice and tight. We can put that to one side because guess what? We're going to be making some suspension now. I don't think we've got a bush to put over this, which is quite handy. So just like last time, this is going to go on here. I am going to drop this in a tiny bit of oil just to help me when I put this in. It's going to go in exactly the same way as the other ones were. So you put it in, twist. Whoops. See, that can happen. Put it in and twist. Just like that. Once you've done that, we can take what we've just been working on, and I'm going to be taking the thicker side of this, not the thinner side, the thicker side, and that's going to go between these 2 points just here, like that. It's going to be held in with an RM screw just through this side here. Now, RM screws are really long ones. So get that lined up. Make sure it's the thick end we're putting in. Thread that through there. Make sure it comes out the other side, and then we can screw this in like this. Now, bringing over the car, on the side where we put this little reservoir there, this is where this is going to go. Okay, so to start putting this in, I want this way round. The shock is going to be going into this point here, and it's sort of going to sit in there. But before I actually attach it, I want to take this bottom section here and line that up with this side of the frame, because I've got this pipe here which come in this stage to push through. So I'm just going to line this up, kind of show you how this goes. So the bottom section's now straddling both of these. This pipe's going to go all the way through to the other side. I'm not worried about fixing this top bar in yet, but what I will do now is put the shock in, and that's held in with a QM screw. Got that here, quite a long screw. And I'll get that screwed fully into place. Again, another tricky stage, this one. Now, another QM screw. I'm just putting in a bit of oil here. It's going to hold the top one in. So I'm just putting that into position. It goes on the second hole down. Make sure that goes all the way in there. Perfect. And then on the other side, we're going to be using another QM screw. Probably better to get it from the inside here. If you push up on this, it will help to line this one up. Now the bottom one that's holding the bottom part of that wishbone in, and the bar that we put in to hold this together, it's going to be held in with a PM screw. And this is just one of these flange screws here. Perfect. That's in, and that's all there is to do in that stage. Guess what we have to do in stage 32? You thought that was hard. We've got to do it again. So once again, we're going to be taking this section, putting this one on this side here, and the other one is going to be going on this side here, like that. Both of these held in with PM screws. Now I know you're going to get sick of me saying this, but I can't believe in this suspension how much metal there is. That is absolutely brilliant. Okay, that's the last one in there. Again, I've just loaded up a CM screw here, just to get this detail into the center section again, just like last time. It's going to go in there. Put that to one side while I make up the other shock. Hopefully I can have as much luck as I had last time. So again, just seeing which way round this goes. It's going to go in like this. push that down and twist. Push that down and twist. Get the twist in. I can't get the twist in. Stand by. There we go. I used some pliers that time to help me out. But that's in place like that. Bring over this section, and on this point that's got this, we're going to be putting this into place. RM screw again is just going to be going into that point there with this top section tilted towards the center. Just like that. And a nice big screwdriver to get that screwed into place. Perfect. Bring over front of the car again. And exactly the same way, we're going to be lining this up so that the shock absorber will be going into the middle here, like that. But I do need to put that pipe through the front sections, just like last time, to keep this bottom wishbone in place. Pass that through. Make sure it comes out the other side. Might put a little bit of oil just on the end of that, just to help guide that through. Will make things a lot easier, as you can see. I'm just checking I've got the other side lined up, because to help get this through, I think I am just going to give it a bit of a tap. That's going to help me get that through. Perfect. That's the bottom one in. Now I can attach the top of the suspension here with a QM screw. I have that just here. Get that all the way through. And then just like last time, a QM screw for this front piece here. And there we go. That's that QM going in the front there. Get that nice and tight. We're going to be putting a QM screw just into the back side of that wishbone as well. That's going to go in this side here. If you want my advice for these ones, it's probably best to pre-thread these ones. So in other words, put the screw in first before you actually put this on. And then you'll be able to get this all the way through. And excuse the noise, that was so stressful I had to put the air conditioning on. I've just got the last screw now, which is the PM screw, just going in to hold that bar into place. Probably best to turn this upside down and put it in this way. And there you go. That's the front suspension in place at the moment. And that is the end of the stage. But you know me, I do keep my mistakes in. As you can see, we've got this tab here pointing towards the bar, which is correct. But the first time I did this, it isn't. It's pointing backwards. So I just need to flip this bit around. This should be quite easy. It's just a case of taking these two PM screws out here and then just flipping it round. I do think it's very important to keep your mistakes in, because you know other people are going to be making that, but this was quite an easy one to fix here. As a matter of fact, fixing this mistake, I do wonder, was it easy putting these things in first and then putting that central spindle in? I think they do. At the start of the manual guide, it does give you best practices and stuff, so you know me, I was probably wrong, but that's the end of that stage. Okay, in stage 33, we're going to be starting with the steering. So we're going to be fitting the steering bar. Couple of sections to put together. We need this section here. This one here with the keyhole pattern, which is just going to go over the top like that. And then I need the left tie rod, which has got L stamped on there. That's going to be going over the top just like this here. That's going to be held in from the other side with an MM screw. So I'm holding it this way. And I'm just going to put all of these parts together on here, just like this, so that I can now screw this together. Just like this. So that piece should look like that. We've got a part to put in here, which is just another arm. It's just going to go into this point here, held in with an MM screw. And again, make that tight. And then on this end here, it's pretty much exactly what we've just done. We're going to be having this section here with this top section on the top. That looks good. Just make sure it looks like the picture, which it does. Perfect. Bring over the front of the car again. And as you can see, we've got this rod. That's going to go into the hole that we could just see there. So it's going to sit in just like that. It's held in with a BP screw. So I've got my BP screw here. I'm going to put this in through the top. So as you can see, that's in like that. So I'm going to hold the steering arm this way round, and I'm going to slide this black section here just onto what I've just put in there. I do want to make sure that this arm here comes out through this side over here. So got to do all that in one go. As a matter of fact, you know what it is? I actually found it better to actually take that BP screw out completely while you're getting this in, just to line this up. So as you can see, you can get both sides through there now, which looks good. And then I can put this section here back in. That's perfect, and that's in just like that. Now we need to put these tie rods that we've done either side into the ends of the clips that we put in before, which I had to spin around to make sure they were facing forward. They're held in with an SM screw. I do have that here. Line it up and put the SM screw in just through the top. Like this. Now this is metal, so don't be afraid to make this nice and tight. And then we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. And that's in on the other side there. And when they're both in, they should look like that. That's all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 34 here, we have got the front stabilizer bar, some brackets here and some pipes. So I've turned the car upside down again, and this front stabilizer bar is just going to go over the top of these rods here like this, and they're going to sit on top of these two sections just here and here. Hopefully you can see that. They're actually going to be screwed in with CM screws. So I've got them here. Let's just get these in. One this side and one this side here. Excellent. Turn it over, and then to hold it in on this side, we've got a couple of brackets, which are just going to go one here and one just on the other side over here. They're held in with two BM screws each side. So I'll fix these in place and we'll see how this looks. So hard to show you this, but underneath this reservoir that we put here, there's actually a hole, which I'm going to try and point to with my screwdriver just there. Don't know if you can see that. That's where we're going to be putting this little detail here. That's my job to make things easier for you. So as you can see, I've already put one in just on this side here. I don't know if you can see that, so that it comes out the back just there. The easiest way to get these in, actually put them in from the bottom. Now you should be able to see we've got those 2 points coming through here like that. You know what, that was a good half an hour of mucking around to get them in. I've actually glued them in now as well because they kept falling out. But they're in. And then just on top, on this section here, I've got another little junction of pipe work nipples to put into place. So I've got two pipes to put into this. I've got 34E, which is the longer one. That's going to go off to the side here. Make sure we orientate this right. So it's actually facing that way there. Now, coming off of this side here, I've got 34E, which is the longer pipe that comes in this pack. Just going to put that over the nipple. Just like that. And then the shorter one here is just going to be coming out the front. Now the shorter one here is going to be going into the back section of those things that I was having so much problem putting in. and the same on the other side for the longer one. So I'm going to put them in. I don't think you're going to be able to see this, but I will try. And that's a crazy stage. Is all there is to do in that stage. Now in stage 35, we're going to start building the front left brake drum. I'd forget the instructions for this one. I'd do it this way. I would take the brake drum for this, and this section here, this is going to go over the top. The one that's got a cutaway is going to go into that one just there. And then this bottom piece here is just going to be going over the top like this. And I'm going to secure all of that down with an EP screws. So 4 of these to hold this into place. And then all we've got to do is just put all of these pipework into place. So the way they go, if I have that this way round, this one goes into this hole here, and the same on the other side, and one part in the middle. Make sure these are pushed in. Help that on its way with my hammer there. So that's the first one in. The second one is going into the hole next to this one here. These are the longer ones. And again, I'm being very gentle with this hammer, but if you can be gentle with a hammer, just to ensure that they're locked in. And then this third one is just going into the final 2 holes that we can see around the side here. 1 and 2. No hammer this time, because this one has got a nipple on top for this bit of pipe, which I should be able to put in without tweezers. So now that looks like that. All we're going to do then is just a case of putting these brake discs just on top like this, rotating them round so the slots fit in where they go, just like that. Put the wheel on top, like that. Then the washer, like that. And then a JM screw, which I've got here, and then that will hold all of this in place. Just make sure that's on nice and tight. I am going to use my larger screwdriver for this as well. That is excellent, and that's the first tyre on. That's all there is to do in that stage. So you can take a good guess at what we're going to be doing in the second part. We're going to be creating in stage 36 the other brake drum, and as you know, we're a dab hand at this now. So once again, I'm going to be putting this side on, making sure it's the right way round, like that. Put this section over the top, like that. Hold that down with EP screws. And then exactly the same as last time, I'll just get these pipes put in. And that's the other brake drum done. Once again, we can put this on the car. Just like last time, again, lining up these holes with the holes here. Now, if the holes here are too tight, you might want to drill them out to 2.2 millimeters. I'm going to see how mine fit in. I think I am going to just drill them out just slightly. So I have used my drill press on that just to make them a little bit bigger. So now when I put them on, they fit in a lot easier there. But with that in place, that's all there is to do in that stage. Now in stage 37 to 38, I have put a link to the video, which was packs 1 to 4, because we have got to do the tyres. Now as you can see here, I've already created the easy one and the hard one. So if you want to see how I did that, you can see how I've done it in pack 1 to 4. If you want to see me doing this live, kind of live, it was over on the Patreon stream, so you could join my Patreon to see that. But that stage is 37 and 38 completed. So the last 2 stages, 39 and 39B, we're going to be putting the wheels on. 39 goes on to the ones with the nice spokes that we did, looking like that. And 39B is the one with the easy spokes, looking like this. So what I'm going to be doing is getting some hot water so we can get these tyres soaked. I'm going to do these stages together. So you've seen this before. So what I'm going to do, take the tyre, Put it in the boiling water there. I've got a little rag, which I'm going to put down. Absolutely filthy rag. And the wheel I want is this one here. This is the one with the spikes in. This is the one that I started doing on the Patreon channel and I finished afterwards as well. So I do like the spokes compared to the easy version, but it's your own preference. It's up to you what you want to do. Give that to soak for about 45 seconds.
A few moments later.
And then fish it out and just push this, getting any excess water out, into place here. Don't press down on your spokes, but do put the whole thing inside and then push back the walls. That's the easiest way I find to do this. Just like that. Do the same on the other side, and that was probably the quickest I've ever done a wheel. But that's looking like that. Now we've got some bits to put in here. We have got a washer, but I want to put this black section just into the middle there. Keep that nice and secure in there. And then once again, I can bring the car over, put the wheel on, put the washer in, and secure in place with a JM screw. To finish that off, we just put the hubs in, one on this side, like that, and one on the other side, just like that. And that is all there is to do in that stage. That's all there is to do in that pack. If you were doing the other tyre, you have got the other tyre here to do exactly the same way, to put the rims on the easy version of this. In fact, as you can see, that's the other tyre done. It is good that they give you tyres and wheels together there, but I'm not going to be using those, so I'll keep them to one side there. But if you are interested in the recording time for this, 3 hours 10 minutes is your lucky number. How long it's taken just to put pack 6 together, no idea how this is going to be when it's edited. But I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. We'll do pack 7 the next Mercedes Monday. Take care.